Welcome to today's episode of the Ben Beard Show. Our guest today is William with Ventana Glass. William, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show. Tell us, who are you and what's your company? What do you do?
So my name is William Martinez. I'm the owner of Ventana Glass. I've been in the glass business for 21 years. Seems like a long time. So what I do here in La Ventana Glass is we do commercial and residential work. What that entitles is we do glass replacements anywhere from regular single pane glass, like for picture frames, double pane glass, 3/16 glass. We do safety glass, which entitles tempered glass. Usually tempered glass is where you put on doors, windows, anywhere that's near a door, because federal regulation says anything that's closed 24 feet, 18 inches from the ground needs to be a type of safety glass. Safety glass can be anywhere from tempered glass, laminated, and plastic. We do mirrors, shower doors, cabinets, obscure glass, tabletops. We do mechanisms for the windows. A lot of people's like, struggling with the windows, they don't go up. We're able to provide balances, guides to get those to go up and down smoothly, guides to make them go to the sides. We do screens. So we do like regular nylon screens, wire screens. We do the pet screen. A lot of people have dogs, and dogs like to jump through their patio doors and scratches and tears it. Mm-hmm. So we have a good gauge quality mesh, so it stops dogs from tearing it.
Really?
So it's a pretty good material.
What size of dog can that stop?
So far that we tried it ourselves, it was 120 pounds.
No way.
Which was over exceeding, because dogs are usually not that much. It's just like the force, and the reason was the homeowner was running, playing with his dog, and he went ahead and he closed it, and we screened that door. Well, that dog tried to go through it, and it did not.
Running full out,
full out.
Dog
stopped it.
No way.
He held in it, and I didn't believe it, but it did. It did. So, and then the only way to tear the mesh is it has to be a very sharp object, something very sharp. And dogs' nails are sharp, but not as sharp as a blade. So they back up the product, and they warranty it. So if for some reason they tear it, the warranty and replace it. But I have not seen that, and I've been doing this 21 years.
Wow. We install in our homes a lot of sliding glass doors, but we don't provide a screen because we've had so many issues. Do you guys have a way to make a screen that rolls a little better or stays in a track a little better?
So it all just depends on the type of framing you have on there. Sometimes the stuff that we have here, we want to say that it's universal. Mm-hmm. So we try to work it with what you have in there and then implement it on there. So depending on the rollers, what we use, a lot of the windows, when you buy them, or doors, they come with a standard, let's say, nylon roller. Yeah. Well, eventually they're plastic, so it breaks and gets a lot of dirt in there. I like to use quality stuff. So when I'm selling my product, I want to give you something that's going to last you a long time, and it's going to save your pocket. So I go with steel ball bearing rollers, and they'll last you at least 20, 30 years versus a plastic. It can just be a couple of years. Wow. So quality.
Does it have anything to do with the weight of the door? I just feel like those screens are so thin and flimsy. There's just no way they're going to stay on.
It can. It just depends on the gauge and the frame. So each company makes different gauges that's going to give you the weight on it. So if there is a lot of weight, then that's how come you got to change the rollers to carry that weight to it.
Okay. Interesting. So what's the difference between a tempered glass versus a regular glass, for those that aren't aware of that?
So it's pretty simple. So regular glass, if it breaks, it'll just break into a big chunk. What happens if it breaks into a big chunk? If somebody is around, you can slice yourself, cut yourself, amputate. The safety glass with the tempered is like the ones in your cars on the side windows, that if you break it, it'll shatter into thousands of tiny little pieces. Yes, it'll cut you, but the damage is minimal. You'll end up with some scrapes, a little band-aid, you're good to go. Versus the plate, When it slides, and yeah, that's what you don't want.
Yeah.
And then the laminated is like your windshield. If you break it, it just cracks because there's a plastic film in between the glass that bonds it and holds it together, which is the best glass to use
Okay.
out of all of them.
Interesting. So it's a thin piece of glass, a piece of plastic, and then another.
And then another piece of glass. So it just depends on what you're going to use it for. So like the regular glass can go anywhere from single strength, which they call 3/32, all the way to 1-inch glass, or bullet resistance, where we can get as big as like 3 inches. I mean, so it just.
Do you guys do any really custom like bulletproof glass?
Yeah, so depending, so like the banks require to have bullet resistant. So they require certain calibers that are go on there. And then depending if we use like any federal buildings or like white sands, they require for some of their, even their Humvees that they use, it has to have a bullet resistant.
Wow.
So it just a little bit different depending on what you want to use. I mean, real thin stuff to very thick stuff, just matters where you're gonna put it.
Yeah. Interesting. Now, do you guys do vehicle glass as well, or just building?
I don't. I really don't like doing vehicles. It's just too many people out there that do it. So I rather concentrate on the bigger things, and then I'll let somebody else just go ahead and take care of that. Unless you're a family member, a good friend, then yes, I will go ahead and take care of it. We can do it, but I choose not to.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So you've been in the business 21 years?
21 years.
Okay.
21 years. The way that started is I was in high school, so I graduated from Cruces High in 2000.
Okay.
When I graduated from high school, well, kid's dream, you got to find a job and go to college. So I got into college. But as I started in 2000, I worked for another glass company.
Okay.
So I worked there till 2007 when I got my degree in criminal justice and linguistics.
Cool.
Once I did that, I was gonna move to be a game warden in Santa Fe. But the company that I was working for loved what I did. They loved my customer service and how I was able to approach customers and run the company. So they made me an offer, and I took the offer and I decided to stay. So I stayed, and I didn't use my degree. So I continued the glass business.
Yeah.
But as times went on, I got curious and I wanted to learn new things. So then I got into EMT, because every time there was a rollover, I would always stop and render aid to find out that all the aid I was doing, it was not the appropriate things to do. I was like, oh, the nice guy that pulled over and helped. I mean, I still help, but
Yeah.
until I actually went and studied and went to school for it, I realized, this is the right way to treat somebody, and that actually became my passion, my hobby. So instead of doing as an EMT as a job, I use it more as a way to kind of get away sometimes from my normal regular 8 to 5 job and be able to work as an EMT where I feel it's a stress reliever and I'm actually helping somebody, which is the most thing I ever done in life. I mean, that I would give my last sheet or whatever to anybody else, then but it's a good career. We're humans. We're always gonna need health.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it.
Cool. So do you do that actively as well as run your business?
I do. So I used to work full time.
Okay.
So now I work part time. Thanks to my supervisor that I have over there. So we're required to have a certain amount of hours that we need to do in order to stay with the company. Because of that, I'm able to stay here at my place and concentrate on running the business. It's hard. It is hard sometimes, because sometimes my shifts, they're 12-hour shifts. So I have to work at night, and then I still got to come in here in the morning and perform my other duties. But now with the quality employees that I have during the day, it gives me the ability to maybe pick an earlier shift in the day so I don't have to kill myself. But it's part of life.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's really neat.
So,
So How long have you had La Ventana?
So La Ventana is going on 3 years. After I left the last company that I worked for, I started by working out of my house.
Okay.
So I worked out of my house in a small little garage, no more than 14 feet by 14 feet, to do exactly what I'm doing right now for a whole year. And then be able to open this place up here. It's been 2 years, but it's been a good 2 years.
Good. So what made you want to start your own business? You're already full-time as an EMT.
So I wanted to see what was on the other page. There was kind of a downfall why I left my other company. So I had a choice of either using my degree, but at my age, our bones are not as as good as when you're younger. So I was gonna do the border patrol, but then I've been in Las Cruces since 1989. So I figured at my age, getting into border patrol just might be a little bit too late for me, and I've been doing this for a long time, so why not give it a shot and becoming a business owner? I know the town, very friendly. People give me good recommendations. I'm about with the community. I try to help where I can as possible. If it's not money, it's my time, mostly time, because money is not always there. So my time is a lot cheaper. And so far, so good. So far, I believe I made the right choice. It is a lot of work. I mean, sometimes I do lose sleep. I go home and what customer did I forget? What didn't I do? What could I have done better? Are my customers happy? Am I gonna get good referrals? So sometimes that kind of scares me because we're a small community and you hope that people are gonna give you the best referrals. And if you don't provide that, I mean, then how do you get business? I mean, word of mouth is still happening to this day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not just about the television, the social media. When you do something good for somebody, I mean, your name gets out there, and I think that's how our 3 years have been going on, because not a lot of people know that I am here. They're like, oh, I didn't know that you were there on Solano.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought you were on Telshore for some reason. Do you have a sign over there?
No sign over there.
I don't know why. I thought you were on Telshore, just north of like the Olive Garden.
The Olive Garden.
I don't know why.
It's a busy area.
Yeah.
And I love Solano. I mean, it's busy here all day long. I
Yeah.
mean, you have everybody come through here, so it's a main street. So luckily, this was a good location. That was a good location to pick.
Yeah, that's a great location. So, what is your favorite thing about living in Las Cruces?
My favorite thing here. I love outdoors. I got into outdoors. I got into hiking. I got into bike riding. Bike riding has probably been the best health thing that has ever happened to me. I mean, I used to be a 235-pound guy. Then I got into mountain bike riding. Thanks to my buddy Raymond. It's just fun. There's a lot of trails. The desert, our mountains here are beautiful. I mean, you have to be able to take the time and actually explore what we have out there. You'd be surprised, 10-15 minute drive out there, the things that you can see, the blooming of the cactuses, road runners running around. You ride at night and you see tarantulas just roaming through the things. It's great.
The craziest thing you've ever seen on a mountain bike ride?
The craziest things, I mean, I always run into rattlesnakes. So rattlesnakes are always out there. So you just ride past them. I mean, you don't mess with them, don't touch them, nothing. Just leave them alone. I mean, you're technically on their turf, their territory. You want to respect what you have out there and just keep on going. I think the worst thing that happened to me though, I was riding and a bee went into my mouth. Ooh. And I pretty much freaked out and I lost control and I tumbled and spit the bee out. It didn't stung or anything, but just being able to ride and have that happen is pretty scary.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Never broken any bones, thank God.
Wow.
So I've been lucky, but I had a lot of falls. So I got definitely a lot of scrapes, lacerations, but no broken bones.
I used to road bike a lot, and I tried mountain biking a couple times. I didn't love it. I was scared about taking a cactus to the face. Or something. So.
I done that. I actually fell, especially because I have clip-ons. So when you're riding the clip-ons and something goes wrong, well, I was still stuck on the bike, and I landed in a yucca. And there were some small little thorns, and I think I had them probably for 6 months before I can get. And I'm sure I still have some on me, but yeah, they're not good.
Crazy, man. All right. Well, so tell us. We talked about being on Solano. What's the address of the?
So the address here is 851 North Solano Drive.
Okay.
Easy to find. People know a lot of Richards Automotive next door, and then I'm right across the Department of Transportation. Okay. So right on the corner of East Picacho and Solano.
Awesome. You guys take walk-in business?
So we do walk-ins, phone calls, appointments. We really don't work weekends, but we understand that there's some people that weekend is all they have, so we have to try to accommodate for those people, and as long as they let us know, we'll accommodate to their schedule.
Awesome. And then how else can people get a hold of you besides stopping by or calling?
So besides stopping by, I mean, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, Yelp. You can just Google us online. Everybody's with the phone, email, or you can call us 575-888-7774. We also respond to 24/7 emergency after hours. So when you call that number, it'll direct you either to myself or to whoever's on call that night, and they'll respond if there's vandalism and it needs to either be boarded up, or if we can replace that glass right then and there, we'll go ahead and take care of it that way.
Awesome. I've heard you guys have some really cool ways to cut glass here in the shop.
So we do. The only one glass that we can actually light on fire will be the laminated glass, because in order to cut it, we have to score it on two sides and then light it on fire so it heats up the film layer that's in between, and we can cut that off. So I can give a demonstration if you like.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
What's the largest window you've ever installed or built?
The sheets come 96 by 130. So it's 96 inches by 130. So this glass right here is our safety laminated glass. It consists of 2 layers. So there's an 1/8-inch glass. There's a plastic film in between, which is about like a 1/16 in another piece of 1/8-inch glass, bonded and sealed together. So in order for us to cut this, let's see. So our glass cutter, and since I don't have to have a specific measurement, we just cut it. So we made a score line on there, and then what we want to do is you create a runner. So it creates a runner on one side. So one layer got cut, and then we just got to flip it over.
So just that pressure, you score it, and
Yeah.
then put the pressure on it.
And you got to do the right pressure, because if you don't do the right pressure, there's a possibility that runner will run off and you just destroyed your sheet.
Yeah.
So also the weather is very important when you cut this. Usually your shop area needs to be about no less than 60 degrees, because the glass being cold, it's hard to cut it, or else it'll break. So let's hope that this one actually cuts correctly and it doesn't run. And you usually want to score it on the same side as the other one. And now and you'll hear that pop in there.
So you don't just start in the middle, you got to start from one side.
Yeah, so you want to create a runner on each corner. So now that I cut both sides, so both pieces of glass are cut. So the only thing that's holding it together now is the film.
Okay.
So this is where this wonderful water bottle comes in, and I'm going to spray some denatured alcohol. So denatured alcohol is our best friend here. So it's a fuel that burns. So that will loosen it up. And then we just catch it on fire.
burns for a minute.
Yeah, so we want to get the film nice. So it's like a plastic. So once it does that, then we're able to break the glass off. So once the score's on there, you take a razor blade and then you start cutting the film that's in there. And then it just cuts it off.
That's awesome. So it doesn't scorch it.
Right, so it just all depends, and it's a little warm, and then once depends, you know, you can use it for the shelves or doors, and then we just grab our sand belt, we sand it, take away any of the sharp edges, polish it so like that people can handle it, and you won't cut yourself.
Awesome.
So pretty neat. It's probably it is the only glass that I know of that you can actually put on fire to cut it. Everything else is plain and simple. You know, it's just a simple score, just like grabbing one of these pieces of regular glass here. And these ones pretty much is just score on contact and it just breaks.
Wow.
So that's what happens though. I mean, that's the difference between regular, which I'll drop this one, so I'll make a mess. You'll see regular glass, big chunks. So it all falls apart.
Wow.
And
You gotta watch out for your guys getting cut all the time.
right, or you know, when we use the laminated, it breaks, but is intact.
Wow.
So
Crazy.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's neat. All right, man. Well, thank you so much.
Well, though, thank you. Appreciate it for
Great to meet
coming. All right, you too.